For Thursday, June 15, 2017, will come to order. Do we have anyone signed up for public comment? Okay. We have a presentation and some employee recognitions. Commissioner Harvey.
Thank you, sir.
Is Cindy here?
I guess you left me by myself today, but that's okay. This is, we're awarding the Water Laboratory Analyst certificate to Mr. Matthew Samuel Lane. There's Mr. Lane. Lane, where's your supervisor?
Oh, right there, Mr. Simmons.
Have him bring my picture.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. I always like, we're gonna use a certificate to anyone, supervisors need to be here too, because they had a part in that as
Yes.
well, because great supervision means you end up with great employees. So that's one thing like that. The Georgia State Board of Examiners for Certification of Water and Wastewater Treatment Plant Operators and Laboratory Analysts recognize the following JWSC employee, Mr. Matthew Samuel Lane, as a water laboratory analyst. This employee is not permitted to practice as a water laboratory analyst in the state of Georgia and is entitled to all of the privileges, rights allowed under the Registration Act of Georgia. Sir, please go forth and do great things, because the state of Georgia has seen fit to issue this certificate, and the Joint Water Sewer have really seen fit that you are awarded the certificate, and therefore I know you do great things for us too. That's a great employee.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
My
very much.
congratulations to you. All right.
Thank you again.
Anything you want to say?
Oh, no, thank you all for the opportunity to let me get this license. Love working here and look forward to a long, prosperous career.
We like it. Don't talk about it.
Mr. Payne.
Not enough.
Is that all the presentations?
Mr. Chairman, I had one other, at least acknowledgement of, I asked one of our employees to come in today that's been very, I'll say, observant and conscientious about his responsibilities to our organization. I wanted to acknowledge his efforts and some special work that he's done for us. And right now, I'd like to acknowledge Alvin Hall. If you'd stand up, Alvin. And my appreciation for Alvin is the fact that as they go out and do the things they do, they're always looking for the abnormalities, the things that are not right, things that are different. And this particular employee found an individual who had basically was in the process of taking water without accounts and without payments, and I wanted to acknowledge him, thank him for his diligence and his astute observations and making sure it's brought to the right attention and taking care of that situation so that it didn't continue. So Alan, thank you very much, and just rub off on the rest.
I got slightly ahead of myself. At this time, we'll stand and have the invocation and the pledge.
Father God, we rejoice in knowing that you're here with us today. I know we started early, but we didn't start without you. You were here with us all the time. And we just thank you for being here, and we praise you as the source of all that is good. And Lord, we just ask that you continue to teach us all about love and how to love our brothers and sisters and how to keep ourselves out of the way of ourselves so that we can do that and that you can flow through us. And Lord, we just ask that you bless this meeting today and give us the guidance and the wisdom to help carry out the business of the county and the commission. And we just ask all these things in the precious name of your Son and our Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next is Committee reports, we didn't have a compliance and legislative meeting this week. Facilities,
We did, sir. We met on Tuesday, and we have 2 items on the agenda. April approval of the design build for the North Mainland sewer improvements, and we have the Peninsula MOU. It's going to be approved.
the Finance Committee met, and we also took up the design build contract, and then the financial reports for the end of May, and that will be covered later on in the meeting. We didn't have a human resources meeting this,
No, sir, we did not.
and public information and customer relations.
And we did not have one of those meetings either, but we have, the regularly scheduled meeting is July the 5th, and we've changed that so that it will come a week earlier. It's going to be on June the 27th at 2 o'clock in this room so that it doesn't conflict with the 4th of July holiday. And so that's going to move the July meeting back into June, the end of June.
Okay. All right, we're now down to the section on approvals. First set of approvals is from the minutes from June 1st, regular meeting, and then June 1st executive session minutes. We have those executive session minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the minutes of the June 1st, 2017 regular meeting.
Second.
Second, sir.
Okay. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Unanimous? Okay. And we have for the executive session.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the minutes of the June 1st, 2017 executive session.
Okay, we have a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Minutes are approved. Okay, we're now to the design build award for 2016 SPLOST, North Mainland Sewer.
So today what I'm here to talk about is our recommendation by the selection committee on the design build project for the 2016 Phase 1 SPLOST North Mainland project. Before you have a memo that has kind of some details of things that occurred during the solicitation process, and also a brief overview of the evaluation matrix, which should be the second paper in that packet. That memo. So that's the actual scoring of the proposals. When we originally had the pre-proposal meeting for this project, we had about 19 firms. That was a combination of engineering, construction, and suppliers come in attendance. We were anticipating getting 4 or 5 proposals for this project. We actually only ended up with 2. And so I believe in both the facilities and finance meetings, I apologize if this is a repeat, we did spend a little bit of time talking about the reasons we thought that occurred. And there's a few bullet points in the memo that we were given as far as feedback. The lead issue with why people did not get the proposal was the timeline that we were looking for to accomplish this project. It's pretty accelerated, and not everybody was available to work as quickly as we would like them to on this project. Also, we had at least one manufacturer that had contacted us that was not, or an engineer that would rather use a different type of pump than the Xylon Godwin we're sole source with. So that was a concern. And then also the coordination with Pump Station 40, 48 force main improvements. We've talked about that. That's kind of like the vital first piece that has to happen to make all the parts of North Mainland sewer reroute work. There was some concern about coordinating those 2 project timelines together. Also, some of the folks that were in attendance at the Phase 1 pre-proposal meeting, they're interested more in the drill sections, the other phases that are to come on the project. This one's mostly going to be pump and electrical upgrades with no drilling. So they passed on opportunity. And then also we had a couple of engineering firms that weren't able to find available construction partners to partner with them in a design-build arrangement. So that one, I think, is important to note because I think it shows that the construction industry is starting to pick up. There's a lot of work out there, so that means there's, some competition for qualified contractors for the work that we're looking for. And so as we move into these other phases of SPLOST, that's just something to bear in mind. We're going to have to work really hard to get our projects out there and get folks interested in participating in those. And also, this is a very small size project for a design build. Design builds are usually much larger scale than this project too. So that was another thing that we had. So that's why we only got two, we think. But anyway, let's talk about the selection committee and the evaluation matrix. You'll see on the evaluation sheets, there were similar marks given for the actual project teams and the ability to implement this project. We think they both have adequate staff to do the job, but it looked like Constantine had a little bit more experience in the design build arena than DRW. And then also the differentiation, there was on the best value alternatives, that's under the technical approach section. And then under the innovation categories, the potential for life cycle cost savings, we didn't get, there was some disparity in those rankings, so that was where we saw a big difference. And overall, I think the comments that the three-member team had were that the Constantine proposal just had more details, had more meat behind it, and seemed like it was more ready to put in motion as far as a plan. But the approaches were somewhat similar, and we were looking for certain targets, so there were 6 lift stations that were included in this, and we were looking for specific gallons per minute target increases, and one of the proposals didn't seem to get all the way to those extra GPMs that we're looking for, and that's the whole point of what we're trying to do with this first phase, is go ahead and get some quick wins in the capacity world so we can have some more REUs available for folks that need those. And then also, I think it's important to note that our evaluation team included 2 members from engineering, 1 member from operations, and so obviously minimizing the impact to our existing operations was really important. And you'll see some scoring differences there. And then also just some enhancements from in the technical approach category. There's a little bit of difference there too in the way everybody scored those out. So, but the numbers are there. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer those. The recommendation is to move forward with Constantine Constructors. And we actually, this is a technical evaluation, so we're looking at the strength of the project approach, not so much the fee that they will be charging. But there was, in one of the committee meetings, some questions about what that fee would be. And so we did open both of the pricing envelopes, and we know those fees too. So the fee that we're looking for to pay for the 30% design with Constantine is $77,854. And so what will happen at this point, we'll approve with your blessing today, them for design work, and we'll come back at a later date with the actual total project guaranteed maximum price for approval for the project for this phase.
Any questions on the presentation? No questions, so I have a motion.
I move that approval be granted to award the contract for Phase 1 design build services for North Mainland Sewer Improvement Project to Constantine Constructors in the amount of $77,854.
Second.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It's approved.
Thank you.
Okay. Darby, Peninsula subdivision.
All right. Good afternoon. What I have for you here is the approval for a memorandum of understanding regarding the water and sewer rights and responsibilities for developments known as Peninsula Golden Isles and Longwood Preserve. In background, on March 31st, 2017, the developer and homeowners association of the residential subdivision on Buck Swamp Road, known as the Peninsula Golden Isles, and the developer of Longwood Preserve, which is not currently developed, approached JWSC in an attempt to dedicate water and sewer infrastructure by easement to JWSC. They were doing this due to a request by the developers to Glynn County to abandon the roads within the peninsula subdivision. At that time, there had been no easement filed addressing the water and sewer maintenance rights and responsibilities. The infrastructure within the subdivision was not installed to JWSC standards and remains in a substandard condition. The developers, however, own all but 10 lots within the subdivisions. Additionally, there are only 2 homes constructed in the subdivision, and both are utilizing step systems located on private lot owner property. Upon investigation, there existed a disagreement between the parties regarding the water and sewer rights and responsibilities, and therefore the JWSC and the developers now desire to enter into a memorandum of understanding for the purpose of delineating the water and sewer rights and responsibilities for the parties. The memorandum in full is in front of you, but the general elements are as follows. Importantly, the rights and responsibilities of the 10 lot owners that already purchased their property, including the 2 homeowners, will not change whatsoever. We sent letters to each of the 10 lot owners advising them of what was going on. We invited them to this meeting to be heard. Of course, no one showed up. But again, the rights and responsibilities of those 10 lot owners will not be changed in any manner. The JWSC will not object to Glynn County abandoning the roads located within the property. JWSC will accept utility easements granted within the right-of-ways of the roads for all existing water mains serving all the lots within the property. So what that means, I'll do this, try to get this here. This is just a piece of the property. And this is just a part of the property. There are 200 and some odd lots that are platted out here. We've just got one part of it. But the water infrastructure will accept easements for the entire subdivision, all 200 so for lots. The JWSC will also accept service and maintenance responsibilities for all the water mains serving all the lots. The JWSC will accept utility easements and form agreement to the JWSC granted by the county within the right-of-ways for only those existing low-pressure sewer lines serving the 27 lots identified as lots 53 through 79 on this plat. I think I have this right. 53 is, well, excuse me, that's 59. 53 is here. So JWSC is accepting an easement to service the low-pressure sewer lines for all of those 27 properties there. JWSC will also accept a 35-foot utility easement from Glynn County for existing low-pressure sewer main running between lots 62 and 63 on Exhibit A. That is right here. That enables us to bring it straight out to the road from here. So we have flow from here, going straight out here. JWSC will also accept responsibility for the service and maintenance of that portion of water and sewer infrastructure that services lots 53 through 79. JWSC will then issue a variance permitting the installation of on-site septic systems with drain fields and/or on-site wastewater disposal in phase 1 and 2. So the entire development will then be permitted to put in septic systems. Any other variances will be the responsibility of the developer to secure from the county or any other governmental entity. The developer will obtain an amendment to the property's plan development text to allow installation of those septic systems. And only the 10 lots identified as 53, 54, 58, 59, 71, 73, 74, 75, 78, and 79, and the amenity center, which is located here. Will be permitted but not required to access the existing or future low-pressure sewer force main. Installation of new private step system sewer assets will not be permitted in phases 1 or 2, except for those 10 lots as previously identified. All lots within phases 1 and 2, excluding those 10 lots and the amenity center, shall be required to utilize private septic systems with drain fields and/or wastewater disposal for wastewater disposal. Private step system sewer assets are permitted only on those 10 lots and the amenity center. Calls for maintaining those private step systems on those 10 lots, if it's even appropriate, and the amenity center, if it's appropriate, shall be detailed on the then current JWSC rate resolution. We identified this problem at the time. Obviously, the rate resolution indicated a cost or a fee associated with maintenance of those systems. Of course, there's only 2 of them out there right now. Any questions?
Questions?
Has this already been accepted? If it's just
By the developer?
verbally, the other party?
Yes.
I'd like to ask one question. Pardon me for not brought it to your attention earlier, but the sewer lines, low-pressure sewer lines serving the lots that were designated, do we need to define that the sewer service would be gray water only and no solids? I don't know, I'm just asking, or is it understood that the technology is such that with a step system, you would be only pumping gray water? So we're good to go the way it's worded. Okay, thank you.
How do you know that?
Step, effluent only.
Septic tank.
More or less
effluent
defined.
pumping. Septic tank effluent pumping, that's what it stands for.
Well, I understand what it stands for, but how do you differentiate? If they're maintaining their system, and how do we stop private homeowners from doing something in the step system that we're not familiar with?
Like putting in a grinder pump and grinding the poo and moving it down like it's ready.
Because we don't have any standards as far as the step system go, and we don't check their work.
Well, because it has a tank, and just by nature of the baffle, unless they physically went in there and knocked the baffle out, you wouldn't have a situation where the pump chamber would see solids. Now, obviously, if somebody doesn't maintain it properly, which based on the description of the MOU, we have the right to set frequency for maintenance.
But we also, Mr. Klein, we also do inspections on our final connections. We know if they're putting in what they're supposed to versus something else, correct?
I think we need to specify that we have the ability to enter their property to inspect, verify.
So is that something we can add and still pass this contingent upon adding that verbiage?
Yes, I mean, we'll have to work out, I don't know exactly.
Right of
Sure, I
entry
understand.
to inspect.
Yeah, because these will be private assets.
I think we may have that power already, but we can certainly include it.
Well, if one of those 10 lot owners wants to build, wouldn't they have to come back to JWSC and get a?
Not if they go the septic tank route. If they go the septic tank route, which is what is being, as I understand it, they more or less decided that all the lots are going to be accessible to build septic tank systems on each lot, so they can move them all. Even the ones that were previously sold, they would still have that access to, or that option. So, and from the standpoint of cost, you know, looking at the cost of doing just a straight up septic tank versus doing a step system with pumps and all that, the expense is much greater to go the step system than to go the septic tank in the near term and in the life cycle of the process. So it's,
But I was addressing the question of how do you know, well, if it's just rainwater? You know, somebody came to us, one of those 10 lot owners, and they wanted to hook up our line.
we can go and stop, we can inspect what they're hooking up to us before they hook
see
it
what
up.
kind of system they have in place at that time, right? I mean, we'd know.
As long as we're aware of the building permit, correct. So if they had to come and purchase the tap,
Yeah, but
Just
they
like
still
when
have
we
to
would-
come back to us, though, and get another
Just-
talk to it like.
Sure.
I mean, we'd know because they had to come to us, you know, I mean, if they're gonna
Just
tap
as-
in our line.
Just as we would go and look at the lateral connections to make sure we've got a proper lateral, when they go to connect their lateral from the step system or the pump, taking the gray water off the step system, we have all the facts there and have it visually what's going on. Inspection, right?
I mean, if someone was hooking up, I mean, they wanted to put in a septic tank, that drain it, our line, you know, we catch that.
Yeah, it won't drain. There's,
Yeah, I mean-
it won't go by gravity.
Yeah, but, well, if they somehow thought it was, well, I mean, we'd catch that, if somebody.
We
thought
catch it
yeah,
in the
we'd
inspections.
catch that.
Plumbing inspections and our inspections of the lateral. So we do check out each lateral
Right.
to ensure that it's,
Right. Put a clean out inspection when the physical connection is made to our system from the private side. So we would, as long as we have right of entry to explore good points, how do we verify it's a step system versus a grinder system, something like that. We would be able to visually see it.
But does this MOU very specifically say that it's step, septic, or nothing?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Any other questions? Do we have any additions to the MOU we want?
the verbiage to allow for access to inspect the step systems or the sewage assets on the property.
Okay. So, do we want to make a motion that it reads like that with the addition of this language on our right to inspect and approve our portion of the MOU and have Mr. Donaghy coordinate with the Peninsula to accept the additional language in the MOU? Is that what we want to do?
Sure.
And I have a motion.
Motion to accept it with the change in language for right of entry for inspection. Or whatever somebody wants it to be. Appropriate legal language.
Well,
I think,
the only problem with that is those 10 lot owners are not party to this agreement. And they're the ones that are gonna have to allow that.
Isn't the manager signing for them? Isn't it the manager signing for them? I mean,
The homeowner association
Yeah.
is, to some extent, so,
But they can't speak for the homeowners, right?
right, that would have to be an easement from the individual lot owner.
so,
I'll just thought into it. I think it's inherent that we could go inspect it if it's drainage or.
so what you're recommending is that we not add language?
Well, we can add language, yes, but I don't know whether it's, whether it's legal.
Well, who gets this MOU is between us and whom?
The developer and the homeowners association,
Okay.
which is.
So it's not between us and the individual homeowners?
Right, not the 10 lot on, their rights are not affected.
All right, so if we put the language in this, it's really meaningless.
Exactly.
Because the things that we're saying that we want to look at are the 10, right?
Right.
Okay. So,
Now, again, there's only 2 units out there, so when they do come to get a building permit, we could then get them to execute something to that.
that's correct.
That's how it's going at everything in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not about those 10, it's about all the other
Other
lots.
ones, that's-
that We're not, we're saying we're not gonna provide. That's what this is, this gets us off the hook for
At
providing.
at that point, we would request an
So
easement.
I don't think we need any additional language.
We were gonna have to deal with them, whatever, you know, whatever's in place, we have to deal with them. I mean, they're ours. We just didn't want all the others. Ain't that right? That's what this is about.
I just don't see the language that if they want to put a grinder in there, what's stopping them?
Well, but that's,
If it's not part of this,
you're talking about the other, not the 10 homeowners.
I'm talking part of the 10 homeowners.
Yep, they're not a party to this.
I understand they're not a party to this. But where are the rules that tell them that they can't do that?
Well,
Well, it says,
other than the 2 homes that are already built, they have to bring their construction plans in to be approved.
there's
That-
also a requirement that they either have on-site septic systems for drain fields or on-site wastewater disposal.
Okay, so that's
That's
what,
within here.
The on-site
So
wastewater
that limits-
disposal is a grinder pump.
Okay, all right, well, that's true. Yeah, on the plat that was originally approved, it addresses the use of step system.
Okay, so the plat says it's a step or nothing.
True, but then the PD text is going to be amended to allow for septic systems.
Okay.
then just the approved, just the approve, motion to approve motion as it stands.
Okay, so,
I think it's a good motion, the way it's written.
okay, I think so. So you want to read that motion real quick?
It's on the 3rd page.
I move that the Joint Water Sewer Commission approve the memorandum of understanding between BGJWSC and the Peninsula Developers.
A second.
I'll second.
All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay, we are up to Ms. Walker and industrial treatment permits.
Good afternoon. I came today to ask for approval of 3 of the wastewater pretreatment applications that we approved. Years ago, they were approved. A little background on this, these permits are actually the culmination of at least 3 years of work between JWSC, the consultants, Brown and Caldwell, and the industries themselves. The JWSC is required by the Georgia EPD to maintain an industrial pretreatment program in Glynn County. The industrial pretreatment program is mandatory for any utility which treats over 5 million gallons of sewage a day. Currently, there are 5 major contributors that discharge industrial wastewater to the Academy Creek Wastewater Treatment Plant, which require pretreatment permits to be issued. All of the industrial pretreatment permits are due for renewal. The draft permits were completed by Brown and Caldwell after review of the local limits for the Academy Creek plant. 3 of the draft permits have been finalized and are included in the documentation for your review. The recommendation, based on staff's evaluation and review of the current draft permits for King and Prince, Rich Products and Quaker City Plating. A recommendation for approval by the commission with implementation beginning July 1st, 2017 is proposed. Two of these users are mostly biological. They're just significant. They discharge over 25,000 gallons of water a day to us. That's the reason they have to have a permit. And the other is a categorical user, and they are under stricter limitations with their discharge. So they have a different permit and more strict limits than what our local limits are for the Academy Creek permit.
I got a question.
Yes, sir?
Now, what does this, if these three organizations didn't put this into our system, what does it do to our system? Does it make it better, worse, or what? And is that treated, does that cause us not to have treat, does it mess up our capacity for others? Or is it just industrial and residential is something different?
Well, they're all different, but the one, the categorical user, they only discharge like maybe 9,000 gallons a week to us in 3,000 gallon batches. So they're not a significant contributor to our wastewater stream, nor do they really affect the plant because there's nothing biological in it and very little total suspended solids. So the things that the plant treats, they do not affect
before it
it.
gets to the plant?
All three of these pre-treat their wastewater before it comes to us. And the two biological users, they actually pay surcharges for their BOD and TSS to allow the plant to have more money for treatment for their wastewater. Because they do contribute a lot of BOD and total suspended solids to the plants. Our plants treat that, but in order to treat that, it costs us more oxygen, more sludge removal, that type of thing. So they pay a higher charge for their flow. It's an industrial user flow that John probably can talk a little bit more about. But the other, the BOD and the TSS is actually based on their whole total monthly flow, and they're charged by the pound for that.
Now, when it comes into Academy Creek, so how does that, Mr. Rouse, how does that mess with what other solids and other stuff coming in?
Basically, municipal wastewater have biological treatment, BOD, COD, total solids, and it's common for any treatment plant as far as treating wastewater.
Okay. But that doesn't bother with our.
No, it's actually it's what we do. Biologically, from the household, it's pretty much the same thing, but at a greater volume.
Okay. But it doesn't mess with our capacity. I guess it does.
Well, it's extra water, extra flow that we get that we have to treat.
Right.
We charge them, surcharge for.
They actually, two of the industries, the two combined, King and Prince and Rich CPAC, contribute about 5 million gallons a month to the Academy Creek wastewater treatment.
Okay.
Any other questions? Got a motion?
I make a motion, I move that we approve, move that approval be granted to finalize the 3 pre-treatment permits, King and Prince, Rich Product, and Quaker City Plating, with implementation to begin July 1, 2017.
Second.
Thank you, gentlemen. And just a word, we have 2 more industries, well, one industry and the local hospital that will be asking for permission to implement those within the next month or so. And then there'll be 4 new pre-treatment permits. That's the first time they've ever been issued, will be issued for the Exit 29 plant for the car washes coming off of the port and the Blue Beacon truck wash there.
Okay. Let me go ahead and go to the vote. I appreciate that.
How often do we have to renew these?
I believe this is 22.
Every 5 years.
5 years, yeah. And then we manage, that's what the job is, to make sure they comply. So all those in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous. The Pre-treatment permits are approved. Okay. Next is the Christmas Eve holiday observation.
Mr. Chairman, this was brought to my attention by a couple of employees that this year we marked because the Christmas Eve holiday falls on a Sunday, we've designated it to be observed on the Friday prior to the holiday weekend. In light of the fact that forced people going out of town, staff going out of town to come back on a holiday, consideration was requested to move it back to the Tuesday after Christmas so that folks returning could travel back on a non-holiday. And I was in agreement with the request, and I'm requesting that we move our observed Christmas Eve holiday from the Friday before to the Tuesday after Christmas.
Questions?
This is one question, even though I know we didn't have a HR meeting about that, I would have loved to have this discussion about that.
Wouldn't have, no.
No, it's all right. But moving into Tuesday, that's not a good idea. Well, my question basically is, why do we have to keep coming? This should be an automatic, I think. Christmas fall on Monday and Tuesday is holiday, but.
Well, Tuesday right now is not declared, we haven't declared it a holiday, the observance of holidays for this for the fiscal year. Right now, Friday is the date that we picked, or somebody, I didn't.
Well, okay, all right. Most times, you forecast this well ahead 2 or 3 years ahead as to this is your schedule, and the schedule comes out like that. So, but okay, I can live with it.
What, the city and the county have different days?
No, we were forecasted way ahead. Well, when I was going to check it out, we forecasted.
Generally, I thought we took the holidays when the federal government had their holidays.
Do, but then again, there's an extra one that sometimes the organization gives you too.
I think that's the way to go. I just hope I'm not on the road on Tuesday. If I stand,
Oh, yeah,
that would be a bad
well,
day to go on the road.
it'd be a good day to go Tuesday down on Friday, because Monday is when.
He's gonna take it off anyway.
Monday will be on travel. So I think it'll be good. That's a good idea. All right.
But I think that's about
Okay, I'm losing this. Do you agree with what?
Yeah, I agree with,
Okay.
I think Tuesday, the day after Christmas,
All right,
holiday, travel.
all right.
And then the next holiday will be Monday the 1st. Is that following Monday?
It's the following Monday.
Okay. So are we gonna make that change also for New Year's?
New Year's comes on a Monday, there's no extra holiday.
No, you're gonna
Nah,
actually-
no extra holiday.
Just the one.
Unless we want to give them one.
That's vacation time.
Okay.
I mean, I think they've done a good job. We just give them.
Go ahead, how about that?
Yeah? Yeah, we're closing the 4th of July. Okay, so can I have a motion?
Yes, sir. I move that approval be granted to revise the BGJWSC 2017 calendar and change the observance of the December 24 holiday to Tuesday, December 26.
All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Robert, you gonna vote or?
All right.
Okay. So that's the, for the approvals, you have financials.
Commissioners, in your packages, you have the financial statements as of May 31st, 2017, and for the 11 months that ended. The first one being the balance sheet. I'm going to keep my comments relatively short on these today. You see in the current assets, second line down, the bond sinking fund is at $2,900,013. On June 1st, payment was made to bondholders in the amount of approximately $910,000, leaving about just short of a $4,000 balance in that account. $2,020,000 was paid in principal on the bonds and approximately $893,000 in interest. That'll be reflected on the June 30th statements, of course. The second page is the supplemental schedule of our cash balances as of May 31st. That's relatively stable from previous months. And then the third statement being our revenue and expenditures for the first 11 months of the year. On the first page, you'll note that our prorated budget for the year for revenues is $2,771,000. We're currently at $27,226,000, approximately $1.5 million ahead of pro-rata budget to date. On page 3, you'll see that our total operating expenditures about in the middle of the page on a pro-rata basis of $20 million, just short of $400,000, and we were $20,426,000, about a $30,000 difference in operating expenditures, which results in about excess of revenues over expenditures of about $1.5 million. And then we have the non-expenditure cash requirements of debt principal, capital expenditures, and reserve deposits. And after all that is deducted from the cash, we have approximately $2,740,000 of revenues in excess of cash needs through the first 11 months. And we do have $2,870,000 outstanding in open purchase orders that have not been invoiced, or goods have not been received as yet, which would leave a deficit of about $130,000. However, we looked yesterday at the outstanding encumbrances that as of yesterday, and it was still approximately $2.8 million. So we don't expect that all of those outstanding purchase orders will be filled by the end of the year. Some of them have long lead times on the goods that are ordered. Some are blanket purchase orders that will be carried over into the next year for purchasing authorization. But the dollar cutoffs will occur at June 30th. If it's billed, if it's received an invoice before June 30th, it will hit this year's budget. If not, it will go against next year's budget.
So, assuming that $1 million of the purchase orders come in before the end of June, that would give us $1.7 million.
Approximately, yes.
And what would we do with that budget?
$1.7 million is right around 1 month operating cash. So most of that would carry over into the next year as a cash balance. Of course, some of that money could be separately allocated to one of the reserves if the commission, if our cash flow situations afforded that, and if the commission made the decision to restrict some of the excess cash at the end of the year.
Okay. So, we'll need to see where we are at the end of next month.
Yes.
Or this month, excuse me.
Another couple of weeks.
Commissioners, do you have any questions on the balance sheet and the income statement? Sir?
I had a question, Mr. Chairman. I was curious, I know you guys have been working real hard on the aged accounts receivables, the 60-day plus stuff.
Yes, sir.
Give us an overview of kind of where we've got to on that.
When the policy was changed by the commission a few meetings ago, we had approximately $2 million of accounts receivable that were over 60 days old. Staff is, after the adoption of the policy, staff has made a great effort to go out and collect a lot of this money. And to date, we've collected $150,000 and about $11,000 of that in the current month. We also have a number of customers who have come in and signed the promissory note and established payment plans that will be paying the bills down over time after the initial down payments that are required of them. We have one customer that has a relatively large balance of that $2 million, which is the Board of Education of Glynn County.
How much was that?
It's about close to $250,000. This is a result of the school board not paying the debt recovery fee based on that is charged to customers based on the number of RUs that they have each month for each assessed to their business. The effect of that is that we bill approximately, we're just over 1 million REUs per year. That 250,000 divided by the 1 million REUs, if the school board does not pay that, and I'll leave any comments on the legal aspects of that alone right now, but if it is determined that they are not responsible for paying that, that would increase every customer's bill by 25 cents a month for the next approximately 28 years. The term.
What about the funds that we've failed to collect for the last, whatever time it's been since they paid?
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Oh, sorry.
To collect that 250,000 that's accumulated already would be $2.80, probably a one-time charge to each customer to make that up, and then an additional 23 cents per month per REU going forward for the remaining 28 years of that bond issue.
You mind me asking you any questions?
No. I'm watching all of this.
Mr. Dorminy, I knew has been pursuing this. I'm just curious if there's any updates on what we're doing in terms of remedying that lawsuit or whatever it is.
Well, back in August, we met with the Board of Education attorneys and came to an agreement stipulated to some facts. We then filed a motion for summary judgment. They filed a cross motion for summary judgment, basically putting it in the hands of the court to decide the issue. So we said we should win, they said they should win. We filed those briefs, we filed ours on August 12th of last year. I'm not exactly sure when the BOE filed theirs, but you know, the courts are I'm sure getting around to it. They work extremely hard. They have a huge docket to tend to, and you know, we're expecting a ruling anytime, and hopefully before the start of our next fiscal year.
Commissioners, questions? Okay. Thank you. Mr. Executive Director, do you have an update for us on this?
Really, the only thing I've got today is we did meet last night, had our first town hall of the two that we're required to do to set our rate structure. I thought it went well. The questions, there was hardly any rotten tomatoes thrown at me, so I think we did pretty well. But overall, it was well received by the folks that were there. I hope I didn't give them more information they wanted to hear, but seemed to go well so far. We're going to have a follow-up meeting that's coming Monday at 6 at the Janice. Thank you. So everyone's invited to attend and hear what we said, or a little less maybe.
Well, I think that was interesting. There really wasn't any pushback on the rates or anything. So it was more, people were interested in what are we doing to correct the system. And one gentleman, he asked some questions about who was at fault. And I thought that Mr. Junkin did a very good job working that one through.
He took about 10 minutes. He took about 10 minutes. Saying everything, but it would cost him. Yeah. But yeah, that was, I didn't sense any, I mean, for what the meeting was about, I didn't sense hardly any interest in talking about the rates at all. You know, it was, how we got to where we are, good, wise. But it was a good crowd, if you got to sit in front of a crowd.
Good. Okay, anything else, Mr. Executive Director?
Of course, I think, I don't know, it is, and I don't know, but it may be the crowd was just mesmerized when they got to the end of Jimmy's presentation.
Thanks a lot.
I'm not so sure that the crowd wasn't still trying to digest all that, and they forgot why they even showed up.
It was good timing.
Yeah, I've had a couple others tell me that.
But it was a good presentation.
Okay. I've got a couple of things to cover on the update. And I've come to the realization, I think we have to be scheduled meetings. Well, I can't do it, but, yeah. So I think the only scheduled meetings, scheduled committee meetings that we'll have is the finance, the facilities and human resources, if you all are agreeable to that. And then the others will be an on-call basis. And I think that we'll kind of stick with where we have them on the calendar right now for when those meetings occur. But I think it leaves it on the staff and certainly, a lot better on us. So.
That's fine, sir, and also, the ones who are not on those other committees, they can come and join our committee meetings as well.
Yeah.
More than welcome to come and join in.
Every meeting is open to all the commissioners.
Yes.
So, do we need to go into executive session?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn to executive session, and we're going in for
Litigation.
litigation? Okay. And I have a motion?
Motion.
Second? All in favor? Okay. Let's be in the inner chambers at 3:05, is that the time? Oh, is there going to be a vote this required? Okay, do I have a motion to come out of executive session?
Make a motion to come out of executive session.
Do I have a second? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, we're out of executive session, and we're in full session again. Do we have any other comments by any of the commissioners?
Yes, sir, I have one comment. Previously in one of my meetings, I talked about find out about our medical benefits and so forth and education policy. And I don't think we discussed that, so I'd like to have that put on the next scheduled meeting
For the human resources or for the full
for the
commission?
full commission.
Full
We
commission.
pulled all that together, so.
Yes, sir, but we haven't brought it to this.
Do you want that, we're gonna have a special call meeting to do the rate resolution?
No, I don't want to mess with the rate resolution.
Okay, so it'll be the
It
first
can
meeting
wait.
in July.
It can wait. Okay.
Anything else, commissioners? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. We are adjourned.